Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, first of all, before I get started into this video, I just want to say that I apologize for not uploading for the past 2 weeks. We have had the most... Austin started daycare 6 weeks ago. As I would have mentioned in my previous videos, he has been sick the whole time. It's basically just been a common cold, but it's been really annoying. It's getting to the point where he actually is just over it. He's like, Mum, just cure me. But the last week, he has gotten gastro, conjunctivitis, and now he has another viral infection, and his eardrum burst. I mean, we're just not having the best fortnight, so I just want to say I'm really sorry. I've missed filming, I've missed uploading, but I really just needed to take some time because Austin is really sick. He is on the mend. I'm actually home from work, which isn't ideal. I really hate calling in sick at work. They don't mind, they understand, but I'm just one of those people where I really just don't like calling in sick. Austin, look. He's just looking so ill at the moment. You can just tell he's not as happy. But he's on the mend. I'm really hoping that he can go to daycare tomorrow just because it's been really hard. He's so dependent on me at the moment. He's really sooky, which is really great, but it's really hard to just really get anything done. So the past 2 days, I've just been snuggling him. I've just been taking in the sickness, but I think that it's time that we get better. You're a bit over it, aren't you? Yes. So if you haven't guessed by the title, this video is about my cesarean C-section experience. 10 things that I wish that I was told, because to be honest with you, I wasn't told a lot. Now before I get into this video, I just want to say something else. I didn't have an emergency C-section. I have not gone through labor. I don't know what it feels like. And I found it really hard when I was doing my research and going on YouTube and Google. A lot of stories were about emergency C-sections. There was never really much talk about planned C-sections. Now the main reason why I had a planned C-section was for medical reasons, and I'm not just saying that. The doctors that I saw throughout my pregnancy basically said that it would not be safe. It was something that just wasn't gonna happen, and they didn't think that it was necessary for me to go through the pain of labor when I would have had to have had a cesarean anyway. Now the reason is my uterus. My uterus is messed up. Now a uterus is normally in the shape of a U, go figure, but mine was in the shape of a W. So the normal uterus, and then it had like a wall of muscle. Now Austin was stuck in the right hand side, and because it was at the point where he was just too big to kind of turn around in such a small space, he was breech. He was frank breech, I'm pretty sure. So I really didn't like the idea of giving birth to a breech baby. There's a lot of success stories about women giving birth to breech babies, and that is awesome. That is such good news for those women. But for me, I just knew that he wasn't gonna turn, and I was very nervous about saying yes to a cesarean because I kind of felt like I was cheating myself. And to be honest with you, I just had to do it for my own health. I still gave birth to him. I mean, he came out of my body as far as I'm aware. This video a thumbs up if you do like content like this. I enjoy filming content like this, so I'd really like feedback so I can keep doing videos like this. Do I want to say like this anymore? And secondly, give this channel a subscribe if you're into my content. I do upload once a week. Obviously, as I mentioned before, him. Oh no. He has been really sick, and it's just been really hard. Obviously that might happen again, it might not, but this is who I am, this is my channel. I'm a real life mom, and if you love the fact that I don't have a schedule that I can work on anymore, it is all run by a little human, then subscribe to my channel because you're gonna get a lot of that. Now the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that having a cesarean that is planned does not feel real. I've had a lot of friends that have had emergency cesareans, and they basically said it was the worst experience of their life. Everything was rushed, they were stressed, they just weren't told anything. It was rush. And I completely understand it is a major surgery, and most cases, if you've gone through labor and you're now having a cesarean, it's an emergency. You know, the baby only has limited time, and not only is the baby in danger, you are as well as a mum. Now, the one thing that I remember is how calm the theater was. It was so calm. I had the most amazing experience. It was just so friendly. Everyone was so friendly, and I guess you wouldn't expect any less because that's what they do every day and they know how much of a big deal it is. But I was kind of expecting more of like a blasé type of attitude of like, we do this every day, but everyone was so friendly. The only thing that I didn't like about the theater experience is that your partner isn't with you until you're basically getting cut open. They basically give you about 30 seconds with your partner and then they're like, okay, we're gonna start doing this now. So that's probably not the best feeling, being alone, because it is the scariest thing, especially as a first-time mum. You have no idea what you're about to go through. But yeah, it was so calming and it just didn't feel real. I kind of felt like I was in a movie and like, it was just so weird. I don't even know how to describe it. I guess if you guys have been through that situation, you would know what I'm talking about. But it's just so weird. Like, it's just so weird. Like, 1 minute you're pregnant and the next you have a human in your face, and it just takes a lot to process. It probably took me about a solid 3 minutes to realize, okay, there's a baby in our life now and I can't do anything about it. Like, this is my responsibility now. Like, it's just so weird. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is the epidural / spinal, whatever you guys call it. That was probably the scariest thing for me. Now, this is the part where your partner is not with you, and the reason why is because the room is so small. And when they said that to me, I was like, surely it's not, but it genuinely is a really small room. You have the head anesthesiologist, and on that day he had his resident, and then there was a nurse / my student midwife, and then there was the consultant of gynecology that kept coming in and out just to check how everything was going, which I thought was really good. It really reassured me that, you know, they had their stuff together, and that made it a little bit more calming. It is really scary when they tell you to kind of just hold a pillow and bend over and not move, because it's your spine, you know. The wrong move can cause an infection. It could cause some numbing in your back. It's a really scary experience. I actually remember that I had a tear or two running down my face, and the anesthesiologist, his name was Michael, and he was like, it's okay, like, you know, it's gonna be okay, like, you're gonna have a baby and it's gonna be the most amazing moment. And I didn't even know I was crying. I think I was just in such shock. And yeah, that's definitely the scariest part of the whole experience. The third thing is the catheter. Now, the catheter didn't really bother me. It's just the fact of like, I've never had one before, and because I couldn't feel anything after the epidural, it was really like, it was weird. So they basically got my legs and they spread them as wide as they could, and you don't feel anything. It's so weird. Like, having your whole body numb from like your ribs down is the most weirdest feeling ever, but I also kind of found it really relaxing. Number 4, the tugging. Now, the tugging is a very weird feeling to feel, because you know what they're doing. They're cutting you open, they're ripping your muscles and all of your nerves. They're going through all 7 layers of your skin. It's a very kind of eerie feeling when you actually sit down and think about what they're doing. But in the moment, all you feel is tugging. It's kind of like someone's pushing on your belly, but it doesn't hurt. It's literally just like they're in your organs and in all of that stuff and just playing around with it. And then before you know it, there's a baby. Number 5 is how fast the whole experience is. Now, the anesthetic room, I was in there for about 30 to 40 minutes. So from the moment that I went and signed in for my appointment, which was 6 AM, I waited 2 hours because there was a girl that was really struggling. It was obvious that she had been in labor for a very long time, and she was getting rushed into the theater that I was supposed to be in, which is fine, of course, emergency. But I was waiting for a while and time went really fast. It went really fast. So from that 2 hours, I then went into the anesthetic room after getting dressed and putting my tights on, which took like 5 minutes. I went into the anesthetic room alone. The midwife took me. I went with my student midwife. So that went for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then around that time, I think it was about 8:40, 8:50, and they let your partner in. So Declan came in. We basically just had a chat, made sure that everything was okay, made sure I couldn't feel anything. And then before I knew it, Austin was out. He was in the world. And honestly, it felt like 30 seconds, but I think from memory it would have been about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, just from the moment that I left the anesthetic room to when I had a baby. Number 6. Now, this one is probably not something you can relate to unless you've had a cesarean. I could be wrong, but it's the fact of not really having that instant bond. Now, because you are pregnant 1 minute and then the next minute you literally have a human, like your baby is out, it is an incredible shock. I don't think it hit until about, I want to say 15 minutes later, when I was actually in recovery, putting him on my boob, trying to breastfeed for the first time. I didn't look like I was happy, but I was so happy, but I was just in shock. 1, from all the medication that I was on. 2, like, it was so quick. Like, I don't even think I had time to register. And 3, like, I have a baby. Like, this is insane. I personally think that if I was to go through a few hours of labor, obviously you're gonna know what's happening because you're in the moment, you're feeling everything. But I just think it's so weird that, you know, 1 second you're pregnant and the next you literally have a baby. It's so weird. So I definitely struggled with the bond. I still loved him. I still knew that he was gonna be my world, but it just took about 10 to 15 minutes. And it can take longer, especially if you've had an emergency C-section. It's not ideal. It's not what you wanted, and sometimes mums can struggle with the fact that they failed, which you definitely didn't fail. You did the best that you could, and you did give birth, just a different way. Number 7. Now, this one is something that I 100% swear by. I am in shock when I get told stories of friends or friends of friends that have not done this or been told this by doctors or nurses. You need to get up the same day that you have your cesarean, because it just helps you heal so much faster. I cannot swear by it. Now, I got up 5 hours after. The spinal basically was worn off. Like, I could get up, so it was worn off. I was starting to feel very achy. I was on endone and a drip, but it's really painful when you stand up, and that's when I realized, okay, I have had major abdominal surgery, and I just pushed through it. I just had to. It's one of the first things I tell friends if they have a cesarean: just stand up, walk. It is recommended, and it shocks me that some doctors and nurses do not support it or don't suggest it. So if you are having a cesarean, or you might think you're going to have a cesarean, please walk the first day of having your surgery. It's not just with cesareans. I actually found out recently that when you have like a hip replacement or a knee replacement, they encourage that you try and walk the first day, because it just gets things going. Your body just has to know, okay, it's time to heal. So recommend. Number 8 is mum guilt. Not so much because you had the cesarean. I personally didn't get the guilt. I knew that my body, basically I wasn't supposed to have babies. So the fact that I had a baby, my body did wonders regardless of how I had Austin. My mum guilt hit hard when I came home and I couldn't get up to Austin. It is incredibly painful to even get out of bed for probably the first, I want to say 8 days. After 8 days, you kind of have a bit of like a routine of how you push yourself up, but I can't recommend having your partner stay home for a few weeks, whether it's your partner, your mum, your dad, your sister, your neighbor, someone that you can rely and trust on to just help you, because you're going to have to really push through a lot of pain just to get out of bed or just to get off the couch. And I definitely felt guilty because I was breastfeeding Austin and I couldn't even like go to him when he was crying. It definitely gets better when you start to heal and you don't feel pain as bad. I probably, I want to say 2 weeks to 3 weeks I was pretty much fine. I was back to normal, obviously still in pain, still healing, but I was able to do things that I could do before. Number 9. Now this isn't really cesarean related, but it is a product that I recommend getting after a cesarean, even if you do have a vaginal birth. It is for ab separation and just sucking everything back in. I only had about 2 to 3 centimeters of ab separation, which is normal apparently. SRC recovery pants are 100% something I would recommend. I still wear them to this day. I can't tell you how much of a difference these pants made to my healing process. I did a lot of research about them before actually having Austin, and I was like, oh, they're so expensive. They're about $200, but if you get them in a baby shop, they tend to be about $10, $15 cheaper. But I was really like, oh, the price is just so expensive. Like everything else about having a baby is so expensive, and then leggings are $200. But I remember being so sore one day. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go and get them, and I did. And I cannot tell you, the pain that I felt went away because I was compressed. My belly was being supported, and it helped me heal so much quicker. I cannot recommend them enough. Number 10 is the weird sensations and all the things that you feel during your healing process. Now this was probably the most daunting for me, when I would feel things and I was like, oh my god, do I have an infection? Oh my god, like they stuffed up my, you know, incision, like what's going on? Most things that you feel are 100% normal. Of course, go to your GP or your specialist if you aren't sure. When I first went to the doctor, I noticed that I had a lump on my right hand side, and the first thing she said was, that's 100% normal. That's actually where they tie the internal stitches. So it's a little lump, and normally there's like blood that'll form around that and it'll create a lump. 100% normal. If it doesn't go away after 2 weeks, you basically go back to your doctor, but it went away. Of course, go to your doctor, get them to check it, make sure that it's nothing that you should be worried about, because you can get infections. Just because it is a normal lump doesn't mean that the area isn't infected. One thing to look out for is redness around the area where it's sore, and warm to touch is also something to look out for. Obviously, those things can be quite common when you're like fresh out of, you know, surgery. So like the first few days, you know, just make sure that you're really keeping an eye on it. But if it's past the week or 2 mark and you're still having those types of problems, I would definitely go and see your doctor. One of the other things that I freaked out about was the fact that I would get this sensation where I feel like I was pulling. Like I felt like my muscles were like being shredded apart. I went to the doctor. Now my doctor's actually, she did residency in gynecology and babies. So she knew a lot about what I was talking about, which really made me feel good about myself. I wasn't going crazy. And she basically said that it's the nerves basically reconnecting. It's your body just healing. And it can be a weird sensation. It can sometimes be a bit painful if you like go to grab something, you'll feel it and you'll be like, oh my god. Now for me, it was mainly in my right hand side, which I actually read was quite common. I asked a lot of people in mum groups, I googled things, and it was basically always on the right hand side. There was a little bit of a left hand side moment, but that went away after around 4 or 5 weeks. But the right hand side lasted until about 8 or 9 weeks, and then ever since then I just haven't felt it. Now the bonus one that I am absolutely excited to talk about are the granny panties that you get to wear. They are so comfortable, I can't even tell you. Declan literally just looks at me and is like, what are you wearing? But they are so comfortable. I cannot recommend them enough for when you're healing. Try and get them maybe a size smaller if you can, just so there is a little bit of compression. Compression is really good for the healing process. That's what the SRC pants do. But granny panties are like my go-to, even now when I'm 10 months postpartum. Normal underwear just really irritates my incision, so I know that my body isn't ready. And to be honest, I could probably put a pad over my scar so it doesn't rub, but I don't need to impress anyone other than myself. But anyways guys, this is the end result of all of that pain and worry. This little sick little nugget here. You gonna say hi? He's so over it. He's so over the sickness. Hi. Anyways guys, that's the end of my video today. I really hope that you guys learnt something. I did try and make it as short as I possibly could, just because if you are watching this video, you've either had a cesarean or you're getting prepped for one, and sometimes having too much information can be really overwhelming and it just doesn't help your nerves. Anyways guys, I'm gonna head off. I hope that you guys loved this video, and if you do, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And if you do want to get notifications from when I post, click the notification bell. Anyways guys, I hope you have a good day wherever you are in this world, and I will see you next time. Bye.